Friendship is one of the most powerful forces in life, yet it is often taken for granted, especially as we grow older. Many people spend their early years focused on careers, family responsibilities, and romantic relationships, believing that friendships will naturally endure. But after 60, when life begins to change in ways we never anticipated, friendships take on a new significance. They become anchors in a world that can suddenly feel unpredictable, companions in the quieter chapters of life, and sources of comfort, wisdom, and joy that are unlike anything else. As we age, the rhythms of life shift. Children grow independent, careers wind down, and the fast pace of earlier years slows into a gentler, yet sometimes lonelier, tempo. In this transition, friendships are what keep us connected to the broader human experience. They remind us that even when our daily responsibilities shrink, our hearts and minds are still meant to reach out, connect, and grow. Friendships after 60 are not just about socializing. They are about sustaining mental and emotional well-being. Studies have shown that strong social bonds significantly contribute to longevity, reducing stress, improving immune response, and fostering a sense of purpose. Yet, friendships in later life are different from those in youth. They are no longer casual or based on convenience. They are intentional. At this stage, we often recognize which friendships are authentic, which ones uplift us, and which ones drain our energy. The trivial disagreements or misunderstandings of younger years fade in importance, and what remains are deep, genuine connections that endure because they are rooted in mutual respect, understanding, and shared history. A friend who has known you for decades carries pieces of your story, pieces that cannot be replaced. They remember the choices you have made, the joys and failures that have shaped you, and they honor the person you are today. Friendships after 60 also become crucial because the world itself changes in ways that can feel isolating. Retirement, relocation, or the loss of a spouse can create voids that previously didn't exist. In these moments, friends serve as both a bridge and a lifeline. They are witnesses to your continued journey, companions in exploration, and co-creators of new memories. With age, the quality of friendship matters far more than quantity. It is better to have a few friends who truly understand you, support you, and share meaningful experiences than to have dozens of acquaintances who cannot provide the depth or reassurance that life at this stage demands. Moreover, friendships in later life are opportunities for reflection and growth. They allow us to examine our own experiences through the lens of others who have walked similar paths. Conversations with friends about past triumphs, regrets, and lessons learned can illuminate our own lives in ways that solitary reflection cannot. A friend's perspective can help us make sense of transitions, accept limitations, and embrace possibilities that we might otherwise overlook. In this sense, friendships after 60 are not just emotionally sustaining, they are intellectually and spiritually enriching. Importantly, these relationships are also reciprocal. While a friend may provide support, companionship, or wisdom, we too offer them the same in return. This reciprocity reinforces the sense of purpose and relevance that many of us seek as we age. Feeling needed, valued, and appreciated through friendship nurtures our identity and counters feelings of invisibility or decline that sometimes accompany later years. It reminds us that we still have influence, still have the capacity to care, and still have the ability to impact someone else's life positively. Physical health is closely tied to these emotional bonds. Loneliness and social isolation have been linked to higher risks of cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, and even premature death. Friendships act as protective factors, buffering against these risks. Engaging with friends keeps us active, both mentally and physically. Whether it is a shared walk in the park, attending community events together, or simply exchanging daily calls or messages, these interactions maintain cognitive sharpness, emotional balance, and a sense of routine that enhances overall health. Yet, cultivating friendships after 60 is not always easy. Life's pace changes, and friends may move away, fall ill, or pass on. Therefore, being proactive is key, Seeking out community groups, hobby classes, volunteer opportunities, or travel companions can provide fertile ground for meaningful connections. It is never too late to form a friendship, and every effort invested in nurturing these bonds pays rich dividends in joy, stability, and shared memories. As we continue to navigate the years, it becomes clear that friendships are not merely optional. They are essential. They shape the quality of our lives, offering companionship when family cannot be near, guidance when life's challenges arise, and laughter that warms the heart in ways nothing else can. True friends see us at our most vulnerable and celebrate us at our most triumphant. They accompany us on journeys both ordinary and extraordinary, reminding us that life, even in its later stages, is full of richness, connection, and meaning. As we move further into later life, the nature of friendship begins to reveal even more of its profound importance. One of the most beautiful aspects of friendships after 60 is that they encourage us to embrace the present while honoring the past. A friend who has been with us through decades knows the intricate details of our history, the mistakes we've made, the lessons we've learned, the dreams we once held, and the paths we chose. When we share a cup of coffee or a quiet walk together, we are not only sharing the present moment, we are acknowledging the rich tapestry of our shared histories. There is comfort in being seen and remembered, and this becomes increasingly meaningful as the years pass. A friend who recalls the stories we may have forgotten keeps pieces of our identity alive. They remind us that we are not just who we are today, but the culmination of every choice, every experience, and every relationship we have ever had. Friendships also provide a mirror for our own growth. By observing and interacting with friends who are navigating similar challenges, we can gain perspective on our own lives. We see different ways of handling transitions, conflicts, and losses. We learn patience, forgiveness, and resilience, not only through our own experiences but through the examples our friends provide. Their successes inspire us, and their struggles offer gentle reminders that we are not alone. In this way, friendships after 60 are catalysts for personal growth, helping us to understand and embrace the complexities of life with wisdom and grace. It is in these later years that friendships often take on a nurturing, almost sacred quality. They are no longer casual associations formed out of convenience or proximity. They are deliberate, intentional bonds. These relationships require effort, but the rewards are immeasurable. Sending a text to check in, making a weekly call, inviting a friend to share a meal or a hobby, these seemingly small actions reinforce connection and create continuity in our lives. Over time, these gestures accumulate, forming a network of trust, support, and shared understanding that becomes increasingly vital as we face the natural changes of aging. Another powerful dimension of friendships after 60 is their role in combating loneliness. Loneliness is an insidious companion that can emerge suddenly as life circumstances shift. When children move away, retirement alters daily routines, or spouses pass on. A supportive friend offers not just company but a lifeline. They remind us that even when familiar structures change, human connection remains accessible and deeply fulfilling. The presence of a trusted friend can mitigate feelings of isolation, providing emotional warmth and reassurance that we continue to matter and belong. This emotional security is invaluable, contributing directly to both mental and physical well-being. Friendships in later life are also opportunities for adventure, discovery, and shared creativity. Many people assume that aging restricts experiences, but with the right companions, later years can be filled with exploration and fun. Traveling together, learning new skills, joining community groups, or volunteering for meaningful causes transforms ordinary days into moments of joy and purpose. Friends motivate us to step out of comfort zones, to try new activities, and to experience the world with curiosity and enthusiasm. Their presence makes these ventures more enjoyable, their encouragement more sustaining, and their shared laughter more memorable. Life becomes richer not because of individual achievements, but because we have companions who amplify joy and ease burdens. At the same time, friendships after 60 teach us about vulnerability and authenticity. With age, many people grow more comfortable with themselves, more willing to express true thoughts and feelings. This openness fosters deeper connections. We can share our fears, regrets, and uncertainties without fear of judgment, knowing that a genuine friend will listen, empathize, and respond with care. These conversations often become profound exchanges of insight and support, deepening our understanding of ourselves and one another. They remind us that vulnerability is not weakness, but a pathway to trust and intimacy. Friendships also challenge us in meaningful ways. A friend may disagree with us, offer alternative perspectives, or encourage us to reconsider choices. This kind of constructive engagement is invaluable, especially in later life, when we may be tempted to settle into habitual patterns. True friends push us to think critically, remain curious, and continue evolving. They keep our minds active and our spirits engaged, helping us to resist stagnation and embrace continued growth. Equally important is the reciprocity that defines mature friendships. While friends support and nurture us, we also have the opportunity to provide care, guidance, and companionship in return. This mutual exchange creates a sense of purpose, reminding us that we are still capable of contributing meaningfully to the lives of others. Being needed, valued, and appreciated by a friend reinforces our own self-worth and reminds us that life after 60 is not a period of decline, but a stage rich with potential, significance, and meaningful engagement. Beyond personal well-being, friendships after 60 influence our broader sense of belonging in the community. Engaging with friends often leads to connections with their networks, creating social webs that enrich our lives with new experiences, insights, and relationships. This expanded circle fosters empathy, understanding, and collaboration, allowing us to continue contributing to the world in meaningful ways. Friends become our companions in civic engagement, cultural activities, and shared projects, ensuring that even as individual routines change, our lives remain intertwined with the community and the wider human story. Moreover, friendships provide emotional scaffolding during the inevitable losses that accompany aging. The passing of loved ones, health challenges, and shifting roles can feel destabilizing. Friends offer continuity, stability, and emotional safety. Their presence reassures us that life, even in its most challenging moments, can be navigated with compassion and companionship. Through these shared experiences, friendships deepen, proving themselves not only as sources of joy but as pillars of resilience. The lessons of later life friendship extend beyond the immediate benefits of companionship. They teach us to prioritize quality over quantity, to recognize the importance of empathy and listening, and to approach relationships with intentionality and care. Friendships remind us that life's value is measured not by material achievements, but by the depth, richness, and authenticity of our connections. They guide us in balancing independence with interdependence, encouraging us to cultivate both self-reliance and meaningful reliance on others. Sustaining friendships after 60 requires intention, patience, and creativity. Life does not remain static, and neither do our social circles. Friends move, retire, or encounter health challenges that change the rhythm of daily interactions. Yet, these changes do not diminish the value of friendship. They simply invite us to approach relationships with adaptability and care. Reaching out, scheduling regular visits or calls, and creating new shared experiences become crucial. These efforts may seem small, but over time they weave a tapestry of continuity, comfort, and shared meaning that becomes increasingly vital as we age. Creating new friendships is equally important. Many people assume that after a certain age the opportunity to form meaningful connections diminishes. In reality, it is never too late to meet someone who becomes an integral part of our lives. Community centers, volunteer organizations, hobby groups, book clubs, or travel programs designed for older adults provide fertile ground for new bonds. Even casual encounters, a conversation in a cafe, a shared activity in a park, can grow into friendships that enrich our lives in unexpected ways. The key is openness and courage, showing up, engaging authentically, and being willing to invest time and attention. Friendships after 60 also teach us about the profound importance of empathy. With years of experience, we often have a greater capacity to understand others' struggles, fears, and joys. This deepened perspective allows us to connect on a more authentic level, offering support and understanding in ways that younger friendships sometimes cannot. We listen with patience, offer advice without judgment, and celebrate accomplishments with heartfelt joy. Empathy becomes a cornerstone of lasting friendship, turning ordinary interactions into meaningful exchanges that nourish both hearts. Humor, too, plays a critical role. Laughter, shared memories, and playful banter have a way of lightening burdens and deepening bonds. After 60, life can bring challenges, health issues, the loss of loved ones, unexpected transitions, but friends provide a space where laughter is not only welcome but restorative. Funny stories, gentle teasing, or recalling amusing incidents from decades past remind us that life, despite its difficulties, is still filled with joy. These moments of levity strengthen connections, making the friendship resilient in the face of hardships. One of the most valuable aspects of later life friendships is the opportunity for mentorship and mutual learning. We often have accumulated decades of experience, knowledge, and perspective that can benefit others. Sharing lessons learned about relationships, health, career, or simply navigating life's unpredictable course creates a sense of purpose and value. At the same time, friends challenge us to remain curious and open to new ideas, encouraging intellectual engagement and personal growth. This exchange of insight and wisdom keeps the mind active, the spirit engaged, and the relationship dynamic. Friendships also nurture emotional courage. As we age, we confront fears, losses, and uncertainties that can be daunting. Friends provide a safe space to voice anxieties, express sadness, and explore feelings that might otherwise remain bottled up. They validate our emotions, help us process grief, and celebrate our triumphs with genuine enthusiasm. This emotional reciprocity strengthens resilience and reinforces the sense that we are never alone in facing life's complexities. Friends become mirrors, sounding boards, and companions, guiding us through both ordinary days and extraordinary challenges. Physical activity and shared routines are another layer of friendship's importance. Walking together, practicing a hobby, attending a class, or even engaging in a daily phone check-in keeps us active and connected. These routines foster not only health but consistency, which is especially valuable when other aspects of life become unpredictable. Friends encourage accountability, motivate participation, and make even mundane tasks enjoyable. Through these shared experiences, we maintain vitality, mental sharpness, and emotional well-being, demonstrating that friendship is as practical as it is profound. Furthermore, friendships after 60 often redefine what it means to give and receive. They are less transactional and more about mutual enrichment. A friend may assist with practical needs, running errands, sharing transportation, helping with technology, but the exchange is always infused with care and respect. At the same time, we offer the same support in return, creating a balanced, reciprocal relationship that strengthens both parties. This reciprocity nurtures a sense of purpose, reminding us that we remain valuable contributors to the lives of others, and that friendship is as much about giving as it is about receiving. Perhaps, most importantly, friendships after 60 teach us about the passage of time and the preciousness of each moment. When we know that life is finite, we recognize the urgency of connection, the necessity of showing up fully, and the importance of savoring interactions while we can. Conversations are more attentive, laughter more heartfelt, and shared experiences more meaningful. Every memory created with a friend becomes a lasting treasure, a story to recall with warmth and gratitude. In this way, friendships illuminate the later chapters of life, making them vibrant, fulfilling, and emotionally rich. Finally, friendships serve as reminders of our humanity. They reinforce that no matter our age, we are social beings meant to connect, support, and be supported. Friends celebrate our achievements, comfort us in times of sorrow, and offer perspective when we feel lost. They are witnesses to our lives, holding pieces of our story that we cannot hold alone. They help us maintain identity, purpose, and joy in a world that constantly changes. In embracing and nurturing friendships after 60, we ensure that life's later years are not marked by isolation or decline, but by connection, meaning, and a profound sense of belonging. As we move into our 70s and beyond, friendships become even more vital. By this stage, life has presented a mosaic of experiences, joy, grief, triumphs, and disappointments, and friends are the companions who help us process it all. They serve as living reminders of the continuity of our lives, anchors in a world that may sometimes feel unpredictable or isolating. At this age, friendships are not just companions for social outings. They are emotional lifelines, sources of wisdom, comfort, and laughter that enrich the soul in profound ways. Intergenerational friendships add another layer of depth and meaning. Connecting with younger people, whether family members, mentees, or friends from community programs, injects vitality and fresh perspective into our lives. Younger friends bring energy, curiosity, and new ideas, while we offer experience, guidance, and emotional insight. This exchange creates a dynamic relationship in which both sides learn and grow. It reminds us that friendship is not bound by age but by the willingness to engage sincerely, listen deeply, and share openly. Intergenerational bonds can invigorate our sense of purpose, stimulate our minds, and provide joy that transcends generational divides. Emotional resilience is perhaps one of the most profound gifts that friendships confer in later life. Friends help us navigate grief, health challenges, and the many transitions that accompany aging. The death of a spouse, the loss of close relatives, or the decline of long-held routines can shake our sense of stability. Friends offer a stabilizing presence, helping us process emotions, offering perspective, and providing comfort when life feels uncertain. They remind us that we are not alone, that even in our most vulnerable moments we are seen, valued, and supported. This emotional scaffolding is essential, reinforcing the human capacity to endure and thrive. Friendships at this stage are also opportunities for reflection and storytelling. Sharing memories, recalling adventures, or recounting personal lessons creates rich connections that transcend the passage of time. Friends who have walked alongside us through multiple decades hold pieces of our story that no one else can fully know. They remember the youthful dreams, the struggles overcome, the mistakes that taught us resilience, and the moments of joy that shaped our identity. In sharing these stories, we reaffirm the meaning of our lives, and these exchanges become treasured moments of intimacy and understanding. Practical engagement is another cornerstone of sustaining friendships in the 70s and beyond. Life's routines may slow, but consistency and connection matters more than ever. Regular phone calls, shared meals, community activities, hobby groups, or simple walks provide rhythm and continuity. Engaging in shared routines fosters physical, mental, and emotional health, keeping us active and socially connected. Even small gestures, a note, a message, an invitation, have immense value. They signal that the friendship is alive, intentional, and cherished. Over time, these consistent acts accumulate, strengthening bonds and creating a network of support that enhances quality of life. Technology, too, plays a role in sustaining friendships as we age. Video calls, messaging apps, and social media enable connections that might otherwise be limited by distance or mobility. For many older adults, these tools bridge gaps between family, friends, and community, allowing for continued interaction and engagement. While nothing replaces the warmth of in-person contact, technology ensures that distance does not equate to disconnection. It allows us to share stories, celebrate milestones, and offer support across miles, reinforcing the idea that meaningful connection can transcend physical boundaries. Friendships also cultivate joy and creativity. Engaging in shared hobbies, learning new skills together, or simply exploring new interests keeps the mind sharp and the heart light. Friends encourage us to embrace curiosity, to experiment, and to find delight in discovery. whether it is painting, gardening, traveling, or joining a local music or book group. The companionship of friends transforms these activities into shared experiences filled with laughter, learning, and fulfillment. The creative energy generated by these interactions enriches our lives and sustains emotional well-being. At this stage, the reciprocity of friendship becomes even more poignant. While friends support and care for us, we also continue to contribute meaningfully to their lives. Offering guidance, emotional support, humor, and shared experiences reinforces the balance that sustains long-term friendships. This mutual exchange nurtures a sense of purpose and relevance, affirming that we are capable of giving as well as receiving, and that our presence remains meaningful in the lives of those we cherish. Friendship, in these later decades, teaches us to savor every moment. Life's fragility becomes more apparent, and we recognize the urgency of meaningful connection. Conversations are more attentive, laughter more heartfelt, and shared experiences more precious. We learn to prioritize presence over perfection, empathy over judgment, and connection over convenience. Each interaction, each shared smile or thoughtful word, contributes to a network of relationships that sustains us emotionally, mentally, and physically. Finally, friendships after 60, and particularly after 70, remind us of our humanity and our enduring capacity for connection. They teach us that no matter age or circumstance, we are social beings, designed to love, support, and be supported. Friends celebrate our triumphs, comfort us in grief, challenge us to grow, and remind us of our significance. They bear witness to our lives, carrying fragments of our story forward even when other aspects of life shift or fade. Through these relationships, we find belonging, purpose, joy, and resilience. They illuminate the later chapters of life, proving that age is not a limitation but an opportunity to cultivate the richest, deepest, most rewarding connections imaginable. Friendships, ultimately, are not optional. They are essential. They shape the quality of our lives, sustain our hearts and minds, and offer meaning and continuity that transcends the years. They remind us that we are never truly alone, that love and care can be found at every stage, and that life's later chapters, though quieter, can be among the most fulfilling. By nurturing, seeking, and cherishing these relationships, we ensure that our lives remain vibrant, connected, and deeply meaningful. As we reflect on the later decades of life, it becomes clear that friendships are more than just companionship. They are an enduring legacy. The connections we cultivate, nurture, and sustain ripple through time, leaving imprints not only on our own hearts but also on the lives of others. A friendship nurtured with care can inspire others to build their own meaningful bonds. It teaches patience, empathy, loyalty, and the value of intentional connection. When we invest in friendships, we leave behind a model of love and care that extends beyond our immediate circle, shaping how those we touch navigate their own relationships. Gratitude is central to understanding the profound importance of friendships after 60. Appreciating the friends who have stood beside us, who have shared our laughter and sorrows, enhances our sense of well-being and deepens the bonds themselves. Taking the time to express gratitude through a kind word, a heartfelt note, or a thoughtful gesture reinforces the value of the friendship and enriches both parties. Gratitude reminds us to focus on what endures rather than what has been lost, highlighting the enduring power of connection even as life brings inevitable change. Friendships also provide a unique lens through which to consider mortality. As we age, we are confronted with the finite nature of life. Friends remind us to cherish every day, to prioritize connection over trivial disagreements, and to live with authenticity and presence. They help us find meaning not in possessions, accolades, or achievements, but in shared experiences, empathy, and mutual care. Through friendships, we are able to leave a living legacy of love, kindness, and emotional richness that persists beyond the span of years. The conversations we share, the lessons we impart, and the laughter we create become enduring threads in the lives of those who journey with us. In maintaining friendships, we also learn resilience. Life's later years often bring unforeseen challenges, health struggles, the loss of loved ones, or shifting circumstances. True friends provide a support system that bolsters our ability to navigate these difficulties. Their encouragement and presence remind us that we are not alone, and that even in moments of vulnerability, connection and companionship can provide strength. Friendships teach us that resilience is not merely surviving. It is thriving in the company of those who understand, accept, and inspire us. The practical dimension of friendship cannot be underestimated. Beyond emotional support, friends often assist with daily tasks, share knowledge, and encourage healthy habits. They help keep routines meaningful, offer companionship in physical activity, and motivate us to maintain engagement with life. From attending cultural events together to sharing meals or participating in community projects, friends enrich the practical fabric of daily life. They transform ordinary days into meaningful experiences and cultivate a sense of purpose and belonging that is essential for overall well-being. Friendships also encourage reflection and self-awareness. Through honest dialogue, shared stories, and mutual feedback, friends help us gain perspective on our own behaviors, choices, and attitudes. They mirror our strengths and weaknesses, celebrate our achievements, and gently point out areas where growth is possible. This reflective quality deepens the emotional and intellectual aspects of friendship, allowing us to approach life with greater clarity, empathy, and wisdom. In later life, this reflective dimension becomes invaluable, enhancing both personal insight and relational depth. As friendships deepen, they also create a profound sense of continuity. They link past, present, and future, carrying memories of shared experiences, laughter, and challenges. A conversation with a longtime friend can instantly transport us back decades, reminding us of youthful dreams, past adventures, and pivotal moments that shaped our identities. These shared memories foster a sense of stability and belonging, reinforcing the notion that our lives are part of a larger, interconnected tapestry. The continuity offered by friendship becomes a source of comfort, grounding us in the midst of change and uncertainty. Humor and joy remain essential in sustaining friendships after 60. The ability to laugh together, to recall amusing anecdotes, and to find delight in small moments nurtures emotional health and strengthens bonds. Laughter provides relief from stress, fosters connection, and reminds us that even amidst life's challenges, joy is attainable. Friends become partners in celebrating life's lighter moments, turning ordinary days into lasting memories of shared happiness. In these later years, friendships are also about co-creation, creating new experiences, exploring new horizons, and building shared meaning. Traveling together, joining clubs, volunteering, or learning new skills are opportunities to craft memories that resonate deeply. These shared endeavors bring vitality, curiosity, and excitement, proving that age does not limit the capacity for adventure or growth. Friends amplify joy, soften difficulties, and transform ordinary experiences into remarkable chapters of life. Ultimately, friendships after 60 teach us some of life's most enduring lessons. Presence is more important than perfection. Quality matters more than quantity. Vulnerability fosters trust, and empathy enriches every interaction. They remind us that life's true value is found not in material achievements, but in the depth and authenticity of our connections. Friends sustain us emotionally, intellectually, and physically, offering companionship, guidance, laughter, and love in ways that no other relationship can replicate. As we conclude this reflection, it is clear that friendships are indispensable, particularly in the later decades of life. They are not merely sources of comfort, they are lifelines, treasures, and catalysts for growth. They illuminate life's path, enrich our experiences, and anchor us in moments of joy and challenge alike. By nurturing, cherishing, and intentionally cultivating these relationships, we ensure that our later years are filled with connection, purpose, and profound meaning. So take a moment to reflect on your friends, the ones who have walked with you through life, the new friends who bring fresh perspective, and the connections waiting to be nurtured. Reach out, laugh together, share stories, support one another. Because in the end, friendships after 60 are not just important, they are essential. They remind us of who we are, who we can become, and how beautiful life can be when shared with others. Cherish them, for they are among life's greatest gifts, illuminating the path through the golden years and beyond.